listening to the Agent Survival Guide podcast, a podcast for today's insurance agents. Informing, educating, empowering, improving the way you do business in an industry that's anything but static.
In today's episode, as an insurance agent, you're likely to use modern forms of communication in your workday routine. Smartphones, laptops, and other devices allow us to conveniently connect in our busy lives. As much as this technology has been integrated into our lives for the past few years, they still can be hard to navigate, particularly video calls. For most of us, the amount of video calls and conferencing has heavily increased in the past couple years. We all still forget to unmute ourselves when we speak, and our interactions through video calls can be awkward at times due to technical difficulties. Today, we're looking at best practices for video calls. We want you to look and sound your best when meeting clients and colleagues virtually. We touched briefly on video call etiquette in a previous episode. Keys to client retention, digital communication. In this episode, we're diving deeper into that topic. We will cover camera angles, lighting, backgrounds, apparel, etiquette, and sound and video quality. But first, let's start with the most important thing, a strong internet connection. If possible, use hardwired internet. If that's not available, be sure the Wi-Fi or mobile hotspot is fast and reliable. Since you can make a video call from pretty much anywhere, it's important to make sure you're properly dressed. These are professional calls, so business or business casual is always a good choice. For most, if not all video calls, only your top half will be shown on camera, so you'll want to focus on that. Polo shirts, button-down shirts, and blouses all work really well. You can also dress up a plain t-shirt with a nice cardigan, jean jacket, or blazer. Now, you might have heard people say because it's a video call that you don't have to wear pants. I wholeheartedly disagree with this statement. Even if you're in the comfort of your own home, you should be fully dressed. Your pants don't have to match the professionalism of your top. You can wear pajama pants or sweatpants. No judgment there. It might sound silly, but I've heard actual horror stories of webcams or laptops falling. I'll leave the rest up to your imagination. We say this a lot on the podcast. Prepare for the unexpected. All right, clothes, check. Next, let's move to camera, lighting, and background. If you are the host of the meeting, it's always good to join the meeting early to test out visuals and sound. Whether you're using a laptop or an external webcam, the camera lens should be in front of you and at or slightly above eye level. You don't want to look down at your client or crane your neck from an odd angle. You may need to prop up your laptop with some books or a box to reach eye level. Some external webcams can attach to the top of your computer monitor or laptop, making it easier to adjust it. Position the camera so at least your face and shoulders are visible. You shouldn't be a floating head. As for lighting, it's important that your light source is in front of or above you. If the light source, like a lamp or a window, is behind you, you will look washed out in the video. Usually, turning on the overhead lights in the room does the trick. But if you want to take it to the next level, put a lamp or ring light at either or both sides of your computer. The overhead light may be bright, but it can create shadows on your face. With the addition of a smaller light source facing you, those shadows will disappear. Proper lighting definitely helps make you look more welcoming from the other side of the call. Moving on to background. You want to make sure you minimize distractions. If you have a messy background or you're in an area with a lot of movement, that can be very distracting for the other person. There are a few ways you can solve this problem. Most video conferencing services have background filters you can use. There's one that simply blurs the background, and others that have pictures of different places, like an office or the beach. Some of them can be quite comical, so be sure to keep it professional. If you don't want to use a background filter, but the view behind your desk isn't pleasing to the eye, consider moving to a different spot or putting a sheet up. You can hang a sheet behind you with command hooks or with a pressure rod. If you do use a sheet or curtain, be sure it's free of stains and not too wrinkled. That's it for tips on virtual distractions. Let's take a look at audio ones. If you can, wear headphones during the call. This decreases the amount of feedback between your microphone, the guest's microphone, and both of your speakers. It also eliminates auditory distractions for you. Turn off your devices. Put them on silent or do not disturb. If you don't need them for your meeting, close applications that give you notifications, like your email, to minimize distractions. Make sure to take calls in a quiet environment so you won't be interrupted. Before my Ritter days, I did a virtual podcast interview where the guest sat in an open room full of people talking, and the fire alarm beeped constantly because it needed new batteries. During the first interview, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. But in the end, I was unable to use the audio because the background was so noisy. So I scheduled a redo. When I logged onto Zoom for the second interview, the guest was in the same spot, noise and all. It felt discourteous that the guest was in the same environment when I had expressed that there was too much background noise captured in the first interview. That did not leave me with a positive impression and made me apprehensive about reaching out for future interviews. You may not think little details like that matter, but just like an in-person meeting, impressions do matter if you want to create a strong professional relationship. It's easy to get distracted on a video call, but it's important to let your client know you are focused on them. This brings me to etiquette. Just like an in-person conversation, eye contact is important. Your eyes may be drawn to stare at the little box of yourself. Trust me, we're all guilty of that. But remember to look at the camera or look at the person's face on the other side of the call. Give your client your full attention. Don't read or answer texts and emails during the call. It's courteous to mute yourself when you're not speaking. If this is a one-on-one meeting and your environment is quiet, then you probably won't have to mute yourself. But in bigger meetings, 3 or more people, it's best to mute yourself while others are talking. And remember to unmute your audio before it's your turn to talk. Remind yourself to be adaptable and be patient with yourself and others as we navigate all the new technology in our daily lives. We're all learning new things every day. You're not alone in modernizing your business. Here at Ritter Insurance Marketing, we are always innovating our resources to help streamline your insurance business. We want you to spend more time with your clients. Our tools like the Ritter platform make that possible with automated tasks, and so much more. You can learn about Ritter's tools using the links in the episode notes. If you have any questions, you can email us at asgpodcast@ritteriam.com. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next episode. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an integrity company. This episode was written and produced by me, Tina Lamoureux, script editing by Sarah Ruppel, podcast design by Urban Rivera, artwork by Vivian Zhao. Follow along with our show wherever you like to listen.